Good morning. This is the second round of painting I'm doing on this landscape from Mino, Gifu, Japan. I went on a trip with my wife last November for our wedding anniversary. So this time I'm going in with a brush that's slightly smaller than the last time. So working on that to paint in the clouds and just make those look more fluffy and voluminous before adding some highlights and shadows to those mountain ranges in the back. It's really important when you're painting landscapes to keep in mind where your light is, and that adds all of the character to your painting. So all of my light is coming from that left side, and that big mountain in front, that's the back half of that mountain, so that's why that's still in shadow and that one didn't get any highlight. And then I'm using a big flat brush to get those kind of spiky textures to my bushes. I like to do the dark first and then layer on my lights over the top. And then now we're going into one of my favorite parts of the piece, which is just penciling in all of these little rocks. It's so zen and almost meditative to paint all of them in. I've sped it up for you because in real life I think this took me almost an hour to paint all these little rocks in, and you'll see in just a moment that I totally ruined some of it by tapping over it to make it look further in the distance. I needed to paint all of those rocks to make it look like that, but it feels a little silly when you just blend them all into the distance afterwards. And then I'm adding in my shadows, and next time I'll do more shadows and more highlights with my smallest brushes just to add that extra level of detail before I call it good. The last pass is always my favorite because I love adding those crisp highlights right at the end and the dark shadows. It's always what sells a piece for me.